Welcome to the Diva Life Show, where music meets fashion, culture meets travel, and we explore the stories of extraordinary artists and entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Diva Life Show, where music meets fashion, culture meets travel, and we explore the stories of extraordinary artists and entrepreneurs. I'm your host and resident diva, Heather Poduska. Today on the show, we welcome award-winning designer and fashionista, Eunice Weckesser. Eunice Weckesser is an award-winning designer and founder of the brand Crown the Cool, where she goes beyond the ordinary and creates immersive experiences for her clients. Eunice was named Luxury Designer to Watch by Modern Luxury magazine, and her portfolio includes projects that range from bedrooms and foyers to whole home renovations. However, Eunice has a special focus on retail and hospitality designs, where she brings her bold storytelling to her designs to help transport people beyond their everyday surroundings. Eunice, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. And you know, we met because another Diva Life guest, Denise, said, you have to meet Eunice. She's so cool. You got to check her out. So of course,
yes.
I checked you out and I was like, dang, that girl is cool.
Yeah, I love Denise too. She's pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, I was like, I'm going to, go to Instagram and check her out. And I was like, this woman is very cool. The name of your company is Crown the Cool. So how did you get so cool?
Oh my gosh. I guess I was born with it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. I feel like as I've aged and become more evolved as a human, I'm becoming more of the person that I want to be. Mm-hmm. And so I'm maybe not giving as many, F's about what others think, and I'm just trying to pursue something that is very important to me, that I'm very passionate about, and just building a company that is not perfect and just, special.
Yeah. So I read you didn't start out in design, right?
No, yeah.
So where did this switch come? Was it always there? Did you always have this love of design? And where did you make the pivot and say, oh, now this is the time to focus on this?
So I have been a nurse for 17 years. I've always loved fashion and art. But I guess growing up, I grew up in an immigrant family. The value was you go to school, you get a degree, you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, something like that, Mm-hmm. And in the world that I wanted to be in, it didn't exist, Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that was kind of brought up to me. I didn't realize I could be in it,
Yes.
So, I went to nursing school, been a nurse, and I've worked and seen many things and hardships and, death and a lot of people just trying to live one more day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm healthy right now. How come I can live a day that would make me happy mm-hmm. and pursue something that makes me joyful? And, I always will thank nursing because it gave me kind of a sense of humanity and, to be more level-minded, because in my mind, my energy levels are up here, mm-hmm. Where I picture myself. But in reality, when you have a new diagnosis of cancer or something, I mean, you're just stripped and you're just a vulnerable person. Mm-hmm. And it just showed me the value of trying to pursue what you've always wanted to do. So that's what I did. So I, after working in the COVID ICU, I know,
crazy.
I know, and so I decided to start my company, and just because I wanted to, I was like, you know what? Why not?
Exactly. I love that, and I had I think a lot of people were transformed by COVID, and it sounds like you were in the trenches for sure.
I think it definitely pushed me a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that, because you're like, we're not promised anything.
Exactly. I mean, COVID was just amplified of what I see every day, mm-hmm. Especially when I worked in the ICU and stuff like that. But no, it just pushed me more to be like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I had something similar, because I'd always been singing and pursuing singing, and then COVID, I was like, no, wait a minute, we don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So that's when I was like, okay, let's turn this up. So I
Yeah.
love that you did that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Me too.
Well, and I love your brand. We're going to get all into that. But where is your family from originally? Because I love hearing those stories.
My mom was born in Greece.
Okay.
So, and my dad and I was born in Puerto Rico too. My dad is Puerto Rican. He was obviously born in Puerto Rico. So my mom came here when she was 15. My grandfather came here with her and my aunt and her mom, my grandmother, when he was 50.
Wow.
To start that American dream.
Wow.
So I know the struggle. I know the idea of wanting to achieve something great for your family. So from that, from my grandfather, my papa, who has passed away. It's been like 10 years, but he was an incredible entrepreneur and just always kind of maybe thought outside the box and took a lot of risks, maybe too many risks. But you don't know until you try. And I think he kind of put that mentality in me too a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. And I've had a lot of people on the show. I always think of it as my own like inclusion and diversity platform because I feel like it makes everything so much better.
Yeah, it does.
And we live in Boston, and I talk about this on the show a lot, how it has this reputation of just being really stodgy, and it's just this real melting pot of talent and culture, and I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like it affects my designs too.
I was going to ask you, so how does that?
Because I appreciate different genres and different cultures. I like soak everything in. So I don't like to just I don't look at one thing in one way. I look at one thing and think of different ways that I've seen, like my travels, or like if I go to Puerto Rico, like the colors of like in Old San Juan, all the buildings, all the historical buildings, or when I go to Greece, you're in this like before Christ AD, like, or BC, like building, and then it's in a cool boutique hotel. Like the mix of like modern and antique or old, like it just comes together. And I think that's why I appreciate mixing those kind of genres together too. And it just opens my eyes to different cultures, and I just love that.
Yeah, it expands your palette.
Exactly, yeah.
And being on the East Coast, I mean, I don't know if you do designs in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, but we have that old school new like the seaport is like the new, and the old, other parts of town are older, so you can kind of mix that. I love that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so when you were thinking about the name of your company, how did Crown the Cool, specifically the name, how did you come up with that name?
So there are two things that I wanted to really focus on. First, I didn't want it to be called Eunice Weckesser Designs because in my mind, if I could uplift other people to do what I can do too, which is like step out of your comfort zone and do something that you truly enjoy and have a passion for, and I can highlight you, why not? So Crown the Cool is also crowning other people who deserve to be crowned. So artists, other designers. I love to collab with other people. There's a seat in the table for everybody, I say. And so I love, I did wallpapers, and I highlight other artists and I put their art on the wallpaper. It's not a huge thing, but it's my contribution to showcase, like, oh, you could see their art in a different way, and why not? Because it's so cool and different. Also, side note, I'm a mom of 2 boys, and they are both on the spectrum. So they're always going to be a little different and kind of stand out, and I always want to make them feel like they're always special, right? And I always want to give them their crowning moments. So they kind of like put that in. I thought about that a lot too, and I don't know, Crown the Cool kind of sounded a little edgy.
Yeah, it totally sounds edgy. I love it.
Yeah, and I kind of, I love edge. I love thinking that people are talking and saying, who is this person?
Exactly. What I loved, why I wanted to have you on the show is you actually have a brand.
Yeah.
You are building a real brand.
Yeah.
And that you've had this and that's what goes into branding, is the thought behind it, and the decisions that you make about the art on the wallpaper, about thinking about crowning other people, and you know, being your own person and unique. So I love that, and it's really reflected in what I see that you do online. And so tell us a little. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you
definitely
so much.
Definitely check out Eunice's Instagram. It's very cool.
Thanks.
So when you approach that, I'm very curious, when you approach your social media, what is your thought process behind it? Because it is freaking cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, social media could be another job in itself,
Yes. Yeah.
and it can be so exhausting. I don't know, like I feel like I want to inspire people, first of all. I do a lot of like inspirational quotes with a lot of like the posts I do too. But also like I want to have people think outside the box a little bit. I want to be bold. I require to show what I can do. It's like almost like an alter ego of me.
I love that. It's so funny because when I'm talking to people about stage presence, it's like Sasha Fierce. Like you have Beyonce, you have Sasha Fierce. Like that stage presence. It's your brand.
Yeah, it is my brand, and you know, it's somebody who I've always seen in me, and maybe didn't have the confidence to do before, and now I do, and I'm putting her out there more.
What would you say to somebody who's like 3 steps behind you, who's still, they have this passion or an itch and they just can't quite see themselves there yet, or they haven't made the leap? What would you say to that person who's like just behind you?
I always say just do it, don't stop. Every day is different. Every minute is different. There are moments in my day that I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. I have too many things going on. And then I'm like, okay, let's sit back. Let's take a minute. This is only 15 minutes of your day. You don't know what an hour will look like, you know? And that's like very important to me because I do get really busy, and mom, I still work as a nurse, you know, trying to like lift up Crown the Cool and make it bigger and better. You know, these are all things that I constantly think about. I would say don't stop. If you have a desire, if you have a vision, there's a reason for that, you know, and it's because that's you, and you're seeing versions of yourself, and you should believe in that self, you know, and that's so important, to believe in yourself. And you know, there are days that people won't understand, and you know, there are moments that, you know, the closest people around you may not support you, because they don't understand either. But as long as you understand, that's the most important thing, because this is your life.
Yes, and it's easy to say that to people. like I think people understand that intellectually.
Yeah.
But then, or it's easy to, especially to say that to someone else.
Yeah.
But for all of us, it's like ripping off that Band-Aid of.
I know. Even like little things every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First of all, I believe in manifestation and affirmation. So, you know, little things that you tell your brain every day. I tell my brain all the time, Eunice, you are a badass designer. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everyone wants to know you. You are going to make waves. You're going to change the design world.
Nice.
Because if I'm doing this, I'm not going to do this to be just any little person. I want to be who I see myself as. You know, and that's someone who can uplift other people in a big platform and inspire others, but also inspire myself too, and my kids, to show them you can be whoever you want to be, you know. So little things, like little steps. I don't know, if you're in the design world and you're trying to get into the design world, you know, I had a hard time. Because I don't have a design background. It's all through passion and like my instincts that I put my designs together. I think giving someone a chance is really important too. I didn't get many chances. I asked for a lot of help, and I didn't get that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company, and then I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So, you know, anytime there's somebody like, oh, you know, you inspire me, or, you know, I'd love to meet you, let's talk. And it could be an opportunity for the both of us. You just never know, right?
Yeah.
So I just say, join groups, you know, find people who have similar passions as you, who don't think you're crazy because you're not, you know, and just start small, you know, and these small little steps will build you into something bigger. than you could ever be. I mean, I've accomplished a lot this year already, but in my mind, I haven't. Because like I always think to myself after today, what's happening tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like a good thing and kind of like a bad thing too. I don't know.
No, well, you have to have vision. I mean, it's like pushing yourself, and also because you're excited about it.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about what would be like when you approach something. First of all, I want to know your process. Like when you walk into a space, what happens for you? Is it internal? Do you have a gut thing? I used to play a lot of Tetris. And I love
Tetris.
I love Tetris too, and I could just see, like, I was really good at it, and I could anticipate really far ahead, like where things were going to go. How does your brain work when you walk into a space?
Yeah, I really feel the energy of the space. I believe in the universe, and I believe in people's energy, and I believe a space holds energy. So I tend to get like these pictures in my mind of what I think the space would look like as soon as I walk into the space, you know, like, and I think to myself, oh, these are just like images, but then I'm like, actually, maybe this is like my intuition telling me this is what the space could look like. How cool would it be if it looked like that? Like, it just comes out of nowhere. It just comes into my mind, you know, and not to say that I'm not obsessed with design. Like, I'm constantly on Instagram, I'm getting AD and House Beautiful and Elle Magazine, Elle Decor, Modern Luxury, New England Home, and I'm always looking at like the newest designs or like just admiring other people's works. It's almost like a museum to me, like when you're looking at artwork and stuff like that. So maybe it just is all like seated in me, and then when I see a place that I'm like, oh my gosh, this would look amazing, I noticed something from before, like an art piece or like a piece of fabric or a wallpaper that I really liked or some lighting, I'm like, this would look great here. It's like stored in my mind.
Yeah, you say it's in your subconscious too.
Exactly.
Like it starts to draw pieces together.
I mean, I can't remember yesterday, but I can remember all that. You know, it's just like, what is happening? So it's funny what your mind will hold on to.
Yeah. So, and you've got to feed it you got to feed it what you want it to produce.
Exactly.
And I love the affirmations. I think J-Lo had one that was, that I loved. It was like, I am beautiful and sexy at any age.
Yes, and we all are.
Yeah, exactly.
Age is just a number, and it's all really in like how you feel about yourself, you know, and, you know, people are always like, oh, I can't wear that. I'm like, why not? You know, like do you not have legs anymore? And if you don't, like, you should wear it. Like, if it makes you happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know, who cares what other people think?
Well, and that's very appealing, like, because everybody wants to have that sense of freedom and confidence.
Yeah.
So when you meet somebody who is living that way, it's like, oh, I want some of that. I want to be around that. And I think that's, you know, you're testament to that.
Thank you.
I wanted to have you here and
I love that.
To know more about you. So what would be some simple things that someone could do either with their style or with their space that would make it immediately cooler?
I always say, for example, like your space, artwork will always elevate your space, and that's a great way because you don't have to put wallpaper up or paint or anything. Like, you can add like color, you can add texture with artwork, or, you know, if you have a bigger budget, I love wallpaper, I love lighting, I love paint.
But what within that? Because everybody would be like, well, yeah, I mean, wallpaper, art, but like, but what would make it like cool?
What would make it cool?
Yeah, I wonder what would make it cool. Because I think I told you when we first talked, I have this image of Lenny Kravitz is one of my favorite artists. And I was in architectural design, and it was his house, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I want more cool. So how can someone make it more cool?
I think it's very important because cool is relative.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So whatever's cool to me might not be cool to somebody else. I like bold stuff, right? Yeah. So I would say whatever makes you happy will make it cool. So if you like a piece of furniture from the 70s and you find this like vintage piece, you know, Ramble Market in Waltham, I love to go there, you know, get it. that will instantly make you happy and make your space more cool. I love mixing different genres together. I think it's very important not to stick with one solid scheme. People tend to shop at one store and like get the matching everything, and that's like not cool. That's how you make it.
That's not cool.
That's not
so we know
cool.
what's not cool.
Yeah, I would say mix and match.
Okay.
I would say choose different genres in your schemes. Like Lenny Kravitz, his house is like kind of like 70s-esque, but like in the modern way.
Yeah, and he has these big black like fern. I don't know what it is.
The furniture, and it's like sculptural.
Yeah,
it's
very cool.
What will make your house cool and stand out is doing something that is completely opposite of what you see on a daily basis. So like, a sculpture piece of furniture, tile that you've never even thought about putting in your home. These pieces that you see in like a hotel, they're like, oh, this is just for a hotel, but it can be in your home. Why not? You can live that life.
Yeah. Well, what Oprah used to say, your house should rise up to meet you when you walk in the door.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, I've never heard that before. I love that.
Yeah, she used to say that a lot, and I think it really, that's why I like style too. It feeds back to you what you see. It's a loop.
Exactly.
Like who you are. Am I a person who lives in this kind of a space? Is that who I am?
Yeah.
Or is my space inspiring me to be more creative, more bold, more artistic? How would you talk to people about figuring out what their aesthetic is, what they like, and they might, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, and that's why people go to like big box stores, is because someone has already done the thinking for them.
I know.
They've got
that's the first problem. Don't let anybody think for you.
That's a good tip in
right?
general, right?
Right. I don't know. Like that's a good question, because I tend to always say, well, why do you like this piece? Does it bring you joy? Like, what about this piece of like this chandelier? Like, is there a reason why you love it so much? Like, when you see this piece, like, how does it make you feel? And that's something that's very important. Like, your home or design or your retail space, it should bring some sort of emotional excitement to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? And it might bring a lot of emotional excitement to you, and it might not bring a lot of emotional excitement to somebody else, but that's okay. Design isn't for, you're not supposed to be pleasing the masses. You should just please yourself.
Yeah, it's your space, right?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about, in your bio, I was reading that you create these immersive experiences. What is that? I'm picturing, what is it, those art installations you can go to where they're on the wall.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I guess I love the idea of having these spaces that people don't feel like they're, in Boston. You know what I mean? Or in a small town. Or they feel like they've just traveled to, a swanky, hotel in Paris. I just love making them feel like they can get away for a moment, which is really nice. And then I love when they take photos of themselves in that moment, because it's almost like appreciating artwork. And I think I don't know, I tend to think like what I do is artistic.
Of course. Yeah.
So, for example, like Parlor, it's a huge salon, and people are always taking selfies there. It's very cool. Yeah, and it's fun, and I love that people enjoy it so much that they want to take a selfie there, because it's a vibe.
It is a vibe. It's totally a vibe.
Yeah, and I love to think that I can create that vibe for a company, and it's just bringing an emotion out in my people in general, like my clients and their patrons who come to their space. I'm just like, if they're enjoying themselves so much that they want to be taking selfies 24/7, why not? That makes me happy, because I love to take a selfie, and I love to showcase beautiful work, and that's the goal. I want to continue that. That's what I want to do. That's what I require to do. I require that the universe understands that I want to bring people to have a great time and kind of leave their life at home and come to a space and make them feel like this is like retail and commercial. But even if they're in their home, sometimes like you can have like a sanctuary in your room, a room in your house. It doesn't even look like anything you've ever seen before. You know, maybe your whole house won't look like that. But some pieces can, like a speakeasy feel for a bar, you know, a really swanky bathroom where you feel like you're in a spa, you know, something that makes you kind of forget about your worries a little bit.
Yeah, I love that because it supports you. It supports who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. I love that. And I love that you're talking about Boston so much. We were just in New York, and you know, New York is like so cool. And,
Yeah.
But I think Boston's getting cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I want to be part of that movement. You know, because I grew up here, and you know, I want Boston to shine. It already shines. It's a beautiful city.
Yes.
It's a gorgeous city. You can walk around Boston. You feel safe. It's an older town. It's an older city. It has a lot of historical value. I love that about it too. I think it just could be a little bit more hipper. We're getting there.
We're getting there for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So, what are some of your favorite spaces specific spaces that you've seen that you're like, that this is so cool?
Usually, it comes like in restaurants or like in Boston. Should I say?
It could be Boston. It could be anywhere else.
I don't. You know, there are too many. I think. I love anything that Kelly Weckesser designs. She does a lot of hospitality, like hotels. The proper hotels are all kind of like on the West Coast.
Okay.
Very cool. She kind of makes the 80s and creates it to be like in the 2000s. And it's just like, I love all all the patterns and textures that she does and the colors. It's like very cool. So yeah, the proper hotels are definitely one of my favorites.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant.
Have you been to Dolly in Somerville?
I haven't.
The tapas place?
No.
Oh, you should go.
Okay.
Go look at it.
Okay.
It's dark. It's like it's been a while since I've been there, but it's dark.
Ooh.
And it has all kinds of things on the wall. Check it out.
I love that.
Yeah.
Favorite restaurant. I have a few. You know, I do love. I love Contessa. Like the design of Contessa.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I'm a big fan of Ken Falk too. He's the designer of that space. I just love anything that brings me, like I'm like at a brasserie in like Paris or, you know, like Eastern Standard is a great place too. I love their bathroom especially is really cool.
Sometimes the bathrooms can be very cool.
Yeah.
You know who has a gorgeous bathroom? This is such a weird thing to
No,
talk about.
No, I think bathrooms, I kind of judge a place by its bathroom.
It's the Science Monitor, the Christian Science Monitor Mother Church downtown Boston.
Okay.
If you go in I took pictures. The bathroom is stunning.
No way.
It is stunning.
Okay.
It's old. It's very old, but you go in.
I love that.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
check it out.
I love that.
I mean, it's a great institution, you know, a historical spot in Boston anyway, but the bathroom, I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Salty Girl also has a great aesthetic too.
Yes,
yeah,
very cool.
I do like Salty Girl as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I appreciate lots of restaurants that, you know, make a great drink and make me feel like I'm not, you know, in the city, or just or not even that, just makes me feel different.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, it's such a fun thing to talk about. We were talking about the feathers and and we were talking about the Diva chair.
Yeah.
And this is the Diva show. So I always ask everybody, what does Diva mean to you?
I think Diva is somebody who can shine and be loud and proud about it, but also be humble. You know, and let somebody, you know, you can shine too. You can shine and let others shine with you. That's like the biggest flex. Like when other people can support one another, but you're as bright and as shiny as anybody else.
Right. Like you shining doesn't take away from someone else's shine.
Exactly.
But it also doesn't mean that you have to dim your shine.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let anybody dim your light.
No. I love it.
No way, Jose.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to dim your light. You are just too bright and bold, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy
Thank
that you
you.
came on the Diva Life
So
show.
great to be here.
Thank you, and I wish you all the success. I can't wait to see what you create next.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks.
And as always, thank you all for joining us. And until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye.